Deca Begalci, in English would be the children refugee. We are the refugee from the civil war in Greece in 1948, where then an action of this Red Cross was formed to try to save children from the war, that time civil war in Greece. That was the idea, and we call that Begalci refugee because actually, instead of taking us away for about 2-3 months as they planned at that time, it turned out to be a multi-year affair that we've been actually never allowed to return back to Greece. That was the idea of the children refugee. So what happens at that time, and we are talking about 28,000 plus children. So it's not one, it's not two, it's a big number. And it was, I remember it was at that time noted in one of the English newspapers that they raised the question of the children refugee. What happened to them? They have addressed that to the Greek government, and they never answered that because they just simply didn't know how to react to it. Now, how did we come to organize ourselves? I remember I did organize at one time a Macedonian Voice. It was a newspaper here, edited in Toronto, and the people participating in it were 4 of us. All of them were children refugee. And discussing that among ourselves, we have decided that it's about time that we organize ourselves. And that's how it started. It started in 1978. We have organized ourselves here as a children refugee from the Aegean part of Macedonia. That was important to stress the Aegean part of Macedonia because that was the essence of it. The question is basically that we've managed at that time to put our politics in order, in such an order that we have actually foreseen, we've been ahead of times. So what we've said at that time, our motto was, we do not want to change the borders. But what we want to do is stand out for our basic human rights. And that was the issue at that time that nobody thought of as being important, but we thought of it. And what happened because of that, we have managed to convince at that time the governor, for example, of Yugoslavia, to allow us to hold a first reunion in 1988. So that was how we started, that reunion, how we started the Deca Begalci. And to tell you what happened, basically we have introduced ourselves to Europe as well. We've been the first organization who sent a delegation from here, from Toronto, to the Europe to present our cause, to the European Union. And at that time, what they told us that we've been the first one who raised the question. They had no idea that there were some Macedonians, the children refugee, there were Macedonians in Greece, and that's how it started. We have since organized, for example, for the first time, even though it was not allowed in Yugoslavia, the Association of Refugee Children in Yugoslavia, which was against the law at that time. We've managed to do that because of our human rights issue being presented as a foremost and perhaps the only issue that we discussed at that time, which was acceptable at that time. We have again organized committees. We have centered, on Australia, because in Australia, if you know perhaps that the biggest immigration of Macedonian people are in Australia. They are in the range of 250,000 as far as I can tell. So we've managed to organize in three places the committees of Deca Begalci, and they stand together with us, and we've managed to organize, let's say, when we organized the first reunion, they've been part of that reunion. They help us organize that, and they've been since then active on that, just as well as we are here in Toronto, Canada.